fables of Aesop.
This morning we are going to present several Aesop fables. Each one of our fables has a recipe you want to use.
Hope you enjoy our versions of Aesop fables.
Stand up.
The title of our fable is The Seven Frogs at the Well. Seven frogs at the well.
Once upon a time, there were 7 frogs that lived in a pond. One was a wise old frog. 6 were young, foolish frogs. In the springtime, the pond was very pretty. Grass and flowers grew at the edge of the pond, and the water was deep and cool. But in the summer, when the days were long and hot, the water in the pond dried up.
We cannot live here without water. Come, we must find another pond.
So, the 7 frogs hopped down the road on a hot summer's day. They wanted to find a pond with cool, deep water in it. The 7 frogs hopped and they hopped. They were very tired and very thirsty. They could not find a pond with cool, deep water in it. Pretty soon they came to a deep well.
Look, look! There is cool water in the bottom of the deep well. Now we have found a fine place to live where the water is deep and cool. Let us jump into the well.
The wise old frog said,
Not so fast, my foolish brothers. Stop and look. It is a long way to the bottom of the well. If you jump into the well, you can never jump out again. One day, the water in the well might dry up. Then you would die in the bottom of the well. Oh, I did not think of that. You must look before you leave. You must think of what would happen if you did leave. Before you do something, think of what would happen if you do. The old saying is, look before you leave. The moral of our fable is, think twice before you leave.
Here comes the next one.
The name of our fable is The Ant and the Grasshopper.
it was a beautiful fall day. A family of ants were busy drying out the grain they had gathered during the summer. Suddenly, a starving grasshopper with a fiddle under his arm walked up and begged for a bite of food to eat.
Away from the winter? What were you doing all summer long? I didn't have time to store any food. I was very busy playing my fiddle. Before I knew it, summer was over.
The ants were amazed. The ants turned their backs on the grasshopper, and they went on with their work.
The moral of our fable is there's a time for work and a time for play.
The name of my fable is The Fox and the Grapes.
Once upon a time, a fox was strolling through the woods when he came upon some grapes hanging high above him. The fox said,
I certainly would like to have some of those wonderful grapes. They would taste so delicious.
The fox jumped up and tried to grab the grapes, but he could not reach them. He tried again and again to grab them. Finally, he said,
Perhaps if I step back a little and run and jump, I will be able to reach them.
So he took a few steps backwards, he ran and he jumped high in the air. However, still could not reach the grapes. The fox gave up and he walked away grumbling.
They were probably sour and would have given me a stomachache. The moral of my fable is it's easy to dislike what you cannot get. The name of my fable is The Fox and the Crow.
One morning, some fox were walking along a path in search of something to eat. Hearing a noise, they looked up and saw a crow on the limb of a branch. Immediately, the fox stopped because the crow was holding a piece of cheese in her beak.
You don't have to look any further. Here is our breakfast.
Standing below the tree, the fox looked up admiringly and said,
Good morning, beautiful bird.
The crow watched the fox suspiciously, and she kept her beak closed tightly around the piece of cheese. She did not return their greeting, so the fox continued to speak.
What a lovely creature. Your feathers shine so brightly in the sunlight. Such a wonderful bird probably has such a beautiful voice. If you just sing one song, you will call the queen of birds.
The crow was so flattered by these words that she lifted her head high and opened her beak and sang her loudest, caw! The cheese fell out of her beak, and the fox grabbed it. And the fox said,
For our breakfast.
and the fox cheerfully walked away.
The moral of our fable is never trust flattery. The name of our fable is The Lion and the Mouse.
One day a little mouse was scurrying through the jungle. She accidentally ran across the paws of a lion taking his afternoon nap. The lion woke with a start. He snarled, and she grabbed the mouse by the tail.
How dare you disturb the king of the jungle? I'll think I'll eat you for my afternoon snack.
The mouse started to tremble, and she said,
Oh, mighty king, if you eat me, I won't be around to help you someday.
the lion roared a mighty laugh. To think a little mouse could possibly help her.
You know I haven't had a good laugh in ages. I think I'll let you go. Next time you better watch out where you're going. The jungle can be a dangerous place for such a little creature.
A few days later, the lion was walking along, and she stepped into a trap made from a net. She growled and snarled and tried to get herself free. The mouse heard the lion's commotion and scampered to her side, and the little mouse said,
Stop the noise and the hunters will hear you and come morning before I get a chance to gnaw through the road.
The mouse set to work, gnawing at the ropes on the nest. And within minutes, the lion was free.
How can I ever thank you, little mouse?
The lion bowed to the mouse. The mouse answered,
Just remember the smallest creature is just as important as the largest creature. The moral of our fable is a kindness is never wasted.
Here comes Alicia.
The name of our fable is The Cat and the Mice. It's terrible, just terrible. We really must do something about it. But what?
the mice were talking about the cat. One by one, they were falling into her claws. She would steal up softly on her little pussy feet, and then suddenly she would spring, and there'd be one mouse left. At last, the mice held a meeting to decide what to do. One said this, another said that, but mostly they spoke about how terrible and sad things were. Nobody had any plan. But then a young mouse jumped up.
Mom. I know what we should do. Tie a bell around the cat's neck. Then we would hear it coming and run away fast.
The mice clapped their little paws for joy.
Yes, what a good idea. Why haven't we thought of it before? And what a very little clever young fellow this young mouse is.
But now a very old mouse who hadn't opened his mouth all the time got up to see.
Mommy, I can't.
Friends, I agree that the plan of the young mouse is very clever indeed. But I should like to ask one question. Which of us is going to tie the bell around the cat's neck? The moral of our fable is some things are easy to say but not so easy to do.